regarding the national school games, get updated schedules, results, and a few bits and bobs about the different schools and how well they are faring. So all the action will kick off here in just a little bit. My of course suggestion is don't go anywhere. We've also got a bit more to talk about. It's a pleasant day in Singapore, not too sunny. Did have, of course, well, a few dark clouds in the morning, but that's all cleared up now. So it's looking to be a very pleasant evening. And as we get through this, remember, this is a game where there are no second chances. There is absolutely no chance of redemption. There's no time for it. It's really a do or die affair. So the winning team will be champions of the C Division. Here we have our officials walking onto field, and let's get you very quickly acquainted with our officials as well. And that's just before we get into the school anthems. Let's remind you, of course, we do have the school anthems. Each school will have their own anthem, and we will pay our respect and we'll listen to both those anthems very, very keenly. we do. It's time, well, to get you, as I said earlier, acquainted with our officials, and it's also time to, well, run you through a few bits and bobs about these teams. Keep in mind the fact that well, both St. Joseph's Institution and St. Gabriel's Secondary School are share a very strong rivalry. Now here are our main officials. Our main official will be Kamaruzaman, who is the main referee. You can see him right there. Assisting him will be Khairul Anwar and Binu Thomas. Our fourth official is Y. Satyakumar. So respective captains get done with the toss. And one of the few things, of course, that is mandatory or that happens unlike other games in football. So the winner of the toss will choose the side and the team that loses will start the game. It's fairly different when you're talking about other sports, especially when it comes to cricket, where you have actually, well, the first choice that does go to the team that wins the toss, but that's a different kind of reason. And when you talk about sides, one of the things that we always neglect is the fact that certain teams play well when faced with a certain background. Well, sometimes a blank background helps them better to concentrate and to focus. Sometimes too much of movement, like, you know, if you've got apartments behind or things like that, that does make a bit of a difference. It also happens in individual sports where some players play better on one side of a court or on one side of the fence. Having said that, big game here today. We've got a fantastic turnout, and I do believe it would be wonderful, of course, to see this kind of a turnout for even all our club matches. Really almost packed the stadium on one side. Don't look at the other side. The side that we are on, and maybe we'll try and do a little glimpse of the crowd later. Really is packed. There are loads of boats that are turned. We're talking please of the fans. We're talking about teachers, teaching staff. It's a big one. It is Gabriel. Joseph, that get it started. Just to differentiate, St. Joseph's Institution are in green and white stripes, and St. Joseph's Institution are wearing the yellow jerseys with the white shorts. Inroads first itself. St. Gabriel's rushing ahead. Will be a throw-in opportunity for St. Joseph's. Just keeping that ball in the air for a little bit. Tad bit of defense there from the captain, Ryan Asher, or Ryan Koo. Well, does play as a centre back for St. Joseph's Institution. Well, it's also an area that he can inspire his lads from, especially when it comes to that motivational aspect. I'd say well guarded there by Lee Xuan Lei. Well, keep in mind the fact that we do have shortened times. We will not run the entire 90 minutes. Keep in mind the age of our young athletes. Well, on a given day, they would be able to go the length if you ask me, but that would just tire them out. And that's good defensive measures being pulled in there. Smartly done by Ryan Way to just get the danger away for the time being. Well, every time they've come close, they've looked fairly strong. Chauvin Burley also for St. Gabriel's. Well, just doing a tad bit there to get that ball into the St. Joseph's half. Will they be able to carry out well their intention here? Every time they've got close, well, that's a big question. That's the last line of defense for St. Joseph's Institution. Now pulled away by Keith Lim. Quick run down the right flank from Irfan Rakeen. Well, will lose possession. Will just near the sideline. Through an opportunity taken there by Keith. And the referee's going to call that. Well, we did have a few injuries in the girls' finals the other day, but I have to say this. Well, the lads can be a lot more physical, and it just comes with the territory. It just comes with the sport itself. It's nothing, well, out of the ordinary. Here's Limeru to take the free kick for his team. And that's the first free kick in the game itself. Heady defense, I'd say, from the back line here for St. Gabriel's. Well, that certainly looked like it came off the arm of Lim Kai Shun, so good call there from the official. So fairly early days to call any sort of to speculate anything in this game. They're very well matched, well teams, and it's really who gets that first ball in or hits the target first that might just hold a slight advantage. Well, every time St. Joseph's have come close, St. Gabriel's have got a wall of yellow sitting behind to defend. And that's definitely strategy from the lads. And here comes, well, Chauvin back again, but the referee's called that unfortunately. Had a good run down towards the ball, Chauvin Burley. And that's interesting when you actually look at how some of these lads can generate a good bit of pace. Now taking it through, Gabriel Tan. But has to contend with Mohamed Daniel. So barely 5 minutes in. Remember, there will be, well, a hydration break as well in between, which has been advised not just to our lads from school. And that's, well, I'd say the first effort towards the target. Not the strongest, but I think he'll take his chances. And that was Mohamed Farman. So no worries here for the St. Joseph's keeper, well, as of now. Through an opportunity here for St. Gabriel's. And here's the interesting bit as far as the encounter is concerned. It's been, well, as I said, a very grueling effort to get to this stage of the tournament. or to get to this stage of the event itself. Couple of schools that have played each other time and time again. They do have the round robins. Now taking it forward, Mohammad Firman. He's got to work his way through. Strong obstruction put up there by Chestave Singh. Chestave Singh Sidhu, he's a solid lad. And I think a very, very wise choice to man the defense area. Ryan Way moving it across, and it's Ang Sui, the goalkeeper of St. Joseph's, does well get out of his comfort zone to clear the ball. Looking for a few inroads, and I think that's a fantastic clearance. Absolutely well done there. You do need that kind of play, and it's Mohammad Aryan putting his best foot forward. Very clean there with his move. And this is what you really require to do. You really require to see, well, each of these lads going about what their respective duties are. Sometimes, well, at a younger stage of the sport itself, you do have a tad bit of confusion, but these lads, absolutely fantastic, their clearance. Now Mohammad Firman comes to the fore. And that's definitely a game plan from the coach itself to really keep it all together. So it looks like it's going to be an interesting one here. A corner opportunity very early. And that's the first goal. Was absolutely needed. So it is St. Joseph's Institution that have come up with the goods here. And a strong effort coming in from Lim Kai Shun. Well, that was so required in the game. And a strong effort coming in from Lim Kai Shun. Well, that was so required in the game. So as it currently stands, it certainly looks like, well, St. Joseph's almost scoring against the run of play. It was St. Gabriel's that had the ball, well, more in the opposition's half. And that's what's really required. It's all about finding the target. So very good start here for St. Joseph's Institution. As they look to further their cause. One of the key things to remember as far as, well, the action is concerned is that, well, St. Gabriel's themselves have had a very, very strong, well, effort coming together as far as their training is concerned. They warm up as well. We've been watching them in action. Bit of cheer there for the lads in the crowd. Well, that's the first thing you want to do, get the ball. Get a picture with it, stick it up on social media. It's the best thing, well, that most of the lads and most of the youngsters of course do nowadays. But to be fair, a lot of the young ones in school aren't really allowed too much of access to online activity. There's good reason for that. Just a focus on their studies and, of course, extracurricular activities like these that can lead to, well, open doors in different pathways of education. Remember, some of the finest, well, lads picked out from these schools will either go on to join clubs, could even have a chance at joining the under-19s or the under-18s, play for the young Lions. You never know how it could go. And then there's always that opportunity when you go to foreign shows or you want to get into a certain university. There's always going to be those options open where your sports activities and your prowess on the court or on the field will be taken into account. So it's still 1-0 here, 12 minutes into the game. And as far as we are concerned, it's still an interesting turn of events. Just looking for a smart, well, back kick there was Lemirui. Well, that's curved in, but it will be taken quite safely by Ang Sui. And it's Ethan Heng with the first effort on goal for St. Gabriel's. I think that's interesting because St. Gabriel's, of course, do want to take this game back. And they do want to head back towards, well, leveling the playing field. It's been an interesting start. Much was expected from both teams, and I think they're really playing to their strength. So still very much, well, in the running. A quick pass there. Ball coming from Tyler. St. Joseph's Institution will be very keen on, well, doubling their tally here. So as far as we're concerned, it's still 1-0. St. Joseph's Institution will hold the key as far as this first half of play is, well, panning out. St. Gabriel's very eager to get back into the thick of things. Mohammad Aryan and his teammates. Here's Rizilhan getting it to Mohammad Firman. Mohammad Firman using his dribbling skills. He had a bit of an ambush there and a quick clearance from Jastavi Singh Sidhu. Minutes in. Well, let's not forget, I did mention there'd be a rehydration break, and this is something that's not just recommended for the schools, but it's also recommended for most of the club matches and right around the world. It actually started way back in Japan years and years ago, when during the hot summers, well, they were required to take a break, and it happens in other sports as well, including cricket. It also gives the coaches, well, a few minutes to quickly chat with the lads and get them to bring out their best. So the coaches there having a word with their, well, players, and it'll be interesting to see if they can, well, bring about a change. And normally that's so needed, especially when you're taking, well, strategy into account. So the boys back on field. So that's the first quarter done with. Do keep in mind the fact that it's 30 minutes that we're looking at per half. And that's the difference between, well, the senior players and our younger players. I think that's a good, well, that's a very, very good selection of time, because that duration will just about justify the lads being on field without really tiring them out too much. Of course, there will be fatigue, but won't leave too much of a room for injury. The referee will keep that as a clean tackle. Mohammad Aryan being able to pull the ball away from Gabriel Tan. But it will be a throw-in opportunity for St. Joseph's Institution. So there's definitely a lot at stake today as far as, well, the main prize is concerned. Remember, you get to be crowned champions or the best school in the South Division and Division C. And I'm sure there'll be a change as far as the action is concerned, because St. Gabriel's coach would have had a few words to advise his lads with. St. Joseph's looking for an opportunity here, but that's quickly cleared by the defense. Justave moving up to help his teammates. Holding on to possession is really the key here, and both teams have faltered a bit. Now here's Sherwin. Lovely through pass there, but his teammate won't be able to pick it up as it's guarded by the St. Joseph's captain, Ryan Koo. He's had, well, a few interesting moments here today. Hung Sui did have one save, which, well, did not worry him too much. Not too much of stress as far as he's concerned, but it definitely was, well, him being called into action at the right time. And he's manned a decent back line till now. Straight back to the keeper. Ethan Tan getting under it for St. Gabriel's. And at every stage of football and at every age, opposition's players always like to get acquainted with the opposition's keeper. It's just a meeting of sorts. Just dropping by to say hello. Waiting for that ball to slip up. Well, that's put out, but will be a free kick opportunity. After Ethan Tan just took, well, a slight bit of a knock there from Tyler Gengjing. And it will be Ryan Way to take the free kick for his team. Just curved that in beautifully, Ryan Way, while pulling his team level, and that was so required. Gently, just over keeper Ang Siu Yi's outstretched arms. So here's the equalizer for his team as Ryan Zhangwei makes it 1-1. Well, that is so required. So it's game on back again here at the Jalan Besar Stadium in the final. finals of the C Division Boys South Zone. Well, so required, so very required, and it's a bit of leverage as well. Sigh of relief for the time being. So now playing with renewed energy. Ryan slips it to the right flank. Mohammad Rafiz unable to hold on for too long, but they're not going to be too concerned about that. Just a quick word there from the official to the lads.
Scoring the first goal for St. Gabriel Secondary School, number 6, Ryan Singh.
It's Ryan Singh. Ryan Siak Zangwei, that's his full name. And just nullifying that lead was put forward by Lim Kai Shun for his team earlier. So it's St. Joseph's Institution 1, St. Gabriel's Secondary School 1. Well, I do have to say that sometimes when you're looking at, well, that entire bend it like Beckham or Roberto Carlos's ability to bend the ball in, and sometimes you look at the youngsters and it does make you get up, doesn't it? Did see, well, Charissa, the captain of Queensway Secondary School, the girls team captain, and she had such an amazing free kick just the other day at this very spot, and to be fair, at the same side of the field. The only difference being that this came in from the side of Cursors, was in front of the goal area, just outside the box, but it was just similar. And always a marvel and a sheer delight to watch, well, our young athletes bring out these gems in their play. So still a good, well, just a little under 7 minutes shy of hitting the 30 here. And it's been a fairly decent start for us, guys. We do hope that you've, well, enjoyed every moment of it, especially that outstanding goal that came forth just a while back from Ryan Zangwei. So just to remind you, it's 30 minutes or half. Keeping in mind the fact, of course, our young athletes' age, and that happens, of course, with most of the teen battles that are played out until you get to the 18s and the 19s, and our athletes on field very, very young. But let me add to that, skilled as well. So the battle will continue as St. Gabriel's and St. Joseph's Institution, well, do play in balance with their scores, well, tied. And that is so required, of course, in today's, well, game, to stay on the ball. Well, I've been impressed with, well, the game so far. There's an absolutely good chance of getting that in. Needed a tad bit of backup. Unfortunately, that effort from Mohammad Aryan, that effort from Gabriel Tan will sail away. Did have two teammates in there, including Denzel Tumurgun, but wasn't very sure whether any of them would have tapped it in. That certainly was asking for a tap in. So a bit unfortunate here for St. Joseph's Institution. They could have had that lead restored for them, but it's going to be a corner opportunity. Well, Glance, but just away from the target, puts it past the right post, but it's an effort all the same, once again from Gabriel Tan. as we draw towards the end of the first half, remember there's just about 4 minutes left, plus a bit of added time thrown in for stoppages. It will be interesting to see what the final outcome of this game is. So here's the key thing to remember as far as the school games are concerned. You do have a couple of games that are played out first, almost like a round robin before you can get to this stage of the contest, and then of course all your wins are tallied together. The teams that lead with their wins, of course, go into the finals. There's also, the key thing to remember that after the semi-finals, the teams that do not make it through to the finals will head into the third and fourth place. And today's third place finish was claimed by Anglo-Chinese School, Barker Road. Once again, beginning to look dangerous here, and the referee is going to view that. It's a caution handed out. I think very good call there. Absolutely good call from our referee. It was a pick run that we were looking at earlier, where we did have Gabriel Tan as well as Lim Kai Shun beginning to look dangerous. But I think that caution being handed out, that's standard, isn't it? No matter how young or old you are. And that's, I guess, just one of the key things to remember in this So here we go. No penalty awarded, but a free kick that's close enough. And I think St. Joseph's Institution will have a very good shot at reclaiming the lead that they had. They've still got to contend with the wall. They will have a plan in mind. Well, did get a hand to it. The St. Gabriel's keeper, but what a nice finish, and he'll give us the Ronaldo execution. So it's Denzel Ari Trumurgan who's knocked in the second one, and now it's St. Joseph's Institution 2, St. Gabriel's 1. So needed. Number 7 and number 8 will they have provided here in today's encounter. What a turn of events. Well, just nearing the finish of that first half. Of course, as I said earlier, we will have a bit of added time thrown in for stoppages. But don't forget, the main thing is that, I think St. Joseph's will rest easy on the fact that they've got their lead back. And the lads in yellow will be very keen on, just restoring the score all over again and restoring the balance in this game. Well, I don't think there was too much room there for Mohammad Hayden Hafiq at the other end of the field to stop that goal, which was struck by Denzel. Having said that, now here's Sherwin. Almost gets it into the box, but I think that's timely defense from the lads in green.
Scoring a second goal for SJY. Number 7.
And still taking it forward. Looks like they're certainly hungry for a third. And gets right behind it back again. Young Denzel Ari Trumurgan. They'll go in for the long shot, but that's taken safely by St. Gabriel's custodian. So no worries there for Mohammad Hayden Hafiq. Time is definitely of the essence here. Keep in mind the fact that, there will be changes instituted in that second period of play. That always does happen. You'll have substitutions as well, fresh pair of feet that can aid the cause. But for the time being, it still is very much St. Joseph's Institution back in the driver's seat. It's a slender lead. I wouldn't really be jumping for joy if I was on the St. Joseph's camp, but any kind of a lead, well, does work wonders, doesn't it? So very positive start there for St. Joseph's Institution as they finish off their first half of play with the lead. Well, wonderful goals being scored first by Lim Kai-shun for St. Joseph's Institution, and then of course that equalizer for St. Gabriel's from Ryan Way. But in the end, it is Denzel Ari Thrumurgan who's given his team a 2-1 lead going into the break. So it's St. Gabriel's Secondary School 1, St. Joseph's Institution 2. Well, don't forget, we'll be back with you with the action in just a little bit. Once again, just to remind you, this is the South Zone C Division Boys Final in the National School Games 2022. You don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. At the Jalan Besar Stadium, where it's time for us to relaunch with St. Joseph's Institution and St. Gabriel's Secondary, who are, of course, in the thick of the battle. My name is Glenn Octavio Mascarenas, and I'm here to take you through this event. We did have a very, very exciting first half of play, and once again, just to remind you, this is the National School Games 2022. It's a South Zone C Division final, and it's been thrilling. I've been really, well, not pleased, but thrilled with the fact that I've seen two wonderful goals, one in the girls' final and, of course, one today. Today's absolutely brilliant goal in from young Ryan Way. Scored that for St. Joseph's, for St. Gabriel's Secondary. Having said that, well, let's remind you that it's St. Joseph's who do have the lead. 2 goals scored by Lim Kai-shun and Denzel Ari Thrumurgan. Well, in that first half of play. So we do start off with the scores at St. Gabriel's 1, St. Joseph's. Well, that certainly looked like it was detrimental. Well, a tad bit unfortunate. Mohammad Hayden Hafiq, well, rushing the spot, and that is deemed as detrimental play. So that's going to work pretty much against, well, St. Gabriel's, and I just think things have just got a tad bit tougher for them. So, dangerous play is something that the official will always account for. The official will always keep a hold on. And stepping up to take it. Here it's Denzel. Well, kept it fairly simple. And it's now 3-1. Bit unfortunate for Mohammad Hayden. He did dive in the right direction, but was unable to get it. So, well struck there. Not too much of tricky activity. Just kept it fairly simple. Denzel Ari Thrumurgan has now made it 3-1 for his team, and that's a brace for the young lad as well. Finding the target from the spot. Much needed here, and St. Joseph's Institution firmly, well, in the lead. Well, barely a minute and a half into the second period of play. And I think St. Gabriel's will have just got the pressure on them now. Because the lads in green, well, are playing strong, and that's going to be called by the official as well. No jersey tugging is allowed. And that's a caution being handed out to the referee. Not too happy. It's just a tad bit of frustration, I would think, for St. Gabriel's here. And that's, well, bound to happen when you're behind. Well, they will do everything possible to stop that attack from coming on. And I think St. Joseph's Institution will be very eager on keeping the pressure on them. Short pass there from Ryan Way. Sorry, it was a short pass from Tyler Zachariah earlier. That's picked up safely by Mohammad Hayden. Mohammad Hayden Hafiq. Well, he He's been at the receiving end of 3 goals here. Jastavi Singh unable to keep that bait, but that's a good save. Absolutely marvelous save from Angshu E. As he will deny Ethan Tan. So here's the key part as far as this game is concerned. St. Gabriel's now taking that fight back. Remember, they've got to reduce the deficit, and it's a good chance for them to do that. They've got a corner opportunity. Will they be able to use it to its maximum potential? Well, getting close enough, but I think unable to get it past Angshu E. So very good bit of defensive work being done there by the keeper of St. Joseph's Institution. Also gave us a stellar save. Well, Sherwin will lose possession as it's pulled away by Gabriel Tan. Here's the captain, Ryan Koo. Well, he's having a great day on field, isn't he? Young Denzel Ari Trimurgan. And that's going to be well regarded as foul play as well. And the referee actually has had a word earlier with Mohammad Daniel. So Denzel Trimurgan is back up and about. Well, we always knew that this game was going to get a tad bit physical, or rather just physical, to be fair. Just avoiding the tackle there. Denzel Trimurgan was fairly clean though. No foul play there from St. Gabriel's this time round. What's interesting, of course, is to see if, well, the lads in yellow can just about reduce the deficit a bit. They're going for the equalizer. We'll have game on back again. But I've never been a fan of any shot taken from the spot, and least so when it comes to sudden death. I feel that's the most unfair way to actually settle a game. Well, something has to be done, and that's mandatory or necessary to have that, but I've never been a fan of it. I've never been a fan of shots taken from the spot for the simple reason that it puts the pressure on the goalkeeper, and well, it's not really his fault. But it's a dream for every team when it comes to a final. Every penalty shot is worth its weight in gold. Matter of fact, it's worth much more than that. Jastavi will clear the danger for the time being. It's going to be a throw-in opportunity though for St. Gabriel's Secondary School. Once again, just let me wish you a very, very good evening in case you've just joined us, in case you've been with us from the start of this encounter. It's been a very pleasant and very nice day here in Singapore. I always call this the heart of football, the Jalan Besar Stadium. So many memories here. And, well, the other day I was doing that, and one of the coaches asked me if this is the heart, what's the soul? And I said probably the Singapore Indoor Stadium. You have a couple of games happen there as well. So it's really where you have so many, well, matches that were played out. You have little club games on. Always love to get back here and to catch the action. Always a good crowd, good acoustics as well for the supporters who come out with their drum kits. And I've been impressed today, or rather I've been delighted to actually hear the sound of drums and the sound of the bass drum, and even have there's a snare as well around that you can hear every now and then. So tough times ahead here for St. Gabriel's as they look to get back into the action. They will have to do it soon enough. We've got a good bit of time. Remember, we're still playing 30 minutes a half. But having kept that in mind, there's always a chance that things could turn around and St. Joseph's Institution might just get hungry for another goal. So I think the team in yellow will have to be very careful about their defensive measures. It does manage to keep that ball within the line of play. Smartly done there by St. Joseph's Institution, and that's pulled away just in time by Eziakor. Okena. Eziakor pulling the ball away, but not for too long. Here he is back again. Chena Eziakor. Well, almost ambushed there, and he would win the benefit of that doubt. So St. Gabriel's will get the free kick. Got a good foot on him, but straight to the waiting arms of Hung Sui, who was, well, ever ready to collect the ball, so nothing to worry about for SJI as of now. And I think one of the elements that St. Gabriel's will need to very carefully look at is their passing skill. Once again going in for the passing skill. Once again going in for the long shot. Was just running you by how well we've got good supporters here. You can see the drummers there, and that's exactly the turnout that we have on this side of the stadium. Absolutely fantastic. They're not just a supportive bunch, but they're an energetic bunch. So we've only given you a small peek of that, but this whole half of the stadium where the stands are actually full. We've got family and friends of the respective players. You've got, well, schoolmates as well who've come to support the event. And more importantly, you also got a couple of scouts in and around the place. Keep in mind the fact that it's at this stage, at this real level, or, you know, of the sport where you can actually pick out a few gems and groom them for the big stage later on. Here's Chane. Well, that's against the crossbar. He'll collect it safely. Good bit of damage control being done by Hung Sui as he denies Chena Eziakor. So that's what was really required. And I've been impressed. Eziakor really coming out with a few good efforts. He's been pushing as hard as he can. Get them into some of the younger national squads. And what a joy if that does. And that's a good bit about the sport, isn't it? It's not like social media where you need a couple of good hits. You need really good performance on field to come up with the goods, or to get anyone to notice you, and that's what matters. So your best stage is never a mobile screen, but it's actually the playing field. Once again to the rescue. Just targeting Sidhu. Yes, Chena Eziakor angles that once again. turning out to be a tad bit of a battle between him and the last line of defense of St. Joseph's Institution. There's 10 minutes plus a bit of added time that'll be thrown in for stoppages before we can get to final and find out which of these two teams will claim the final spoils here. Throw an opportunity for Gabriels. Ethan Tan, he's been a good mover, trying to work his way through the defensive ranks of St. Joseph's Institution. Ryan Way was trying to just make a few inroads, but possession snatched rather quickly. Now running down the right flank. It was Gordon Tan. Gordon does take the throw in. Appeal there for a foul, but it won't be granted. And here's the interesting bit. Well, most of the players that have come off the bench in the second period of play, they are making a difference. And Uchenna Ejiakor once again snatching possession. Slips it to Sherwin. Sherwin is off his feet, and a free kick, of course, will be granted to St. Gabriels. Good word there from the referee to the SJI player as well. But one of the good things to keep in mind and something that we overlook often with these young lads, of course, is the amount of time that is spent in training and in practice. Roughly about 6 hours a week. Schools divided into 2 hours, into 3 sessions of 2 hours. Some, of course, have 2 sessions of 3 hours. And that is quite an effort to actually balance out your physical activity, your training, as well as your studies, and as well as the intensity of warrior as far as well, SGI is concerned, because they still hold the lead. And that's straight off the captain. So Ryan Koo doing extremely well, just to pose as an obstacle to any efforts coming in from the... And I do believe that first 30 minutes of play, well, was just a bit detrimental towards St. Gabriel's, with SJI really picking up most of the spoils. And he did have a clash a while back, young Lim Kai Shun. There was a strong collision there. Did get up and play on, because the referee, of course, did not call that, and rightfully so. Well, he's asked for a change. He is in a spot of pain, there's no doubt about it. I do believe he took a hard knock to his left foot. The Gabrielites, of course, very much concerned to get back on with the action. did see Mohammad Aryan inquiring with the referee. Can we get on with the game? Here's Mohammad Firman. He's fairly dynamic in his first 30 minutes. Here's Eziakor. Chena Eziakor looking for his teammate. Does find Danish Anaki. Danish kept away by Lee Xuan Lei, and St. Gabriel's will win the benefit of this call by the referee. It will be a free kick opportunity. And I think he's taken a fairly hard knock, Danish Anaki. Well, that hip area or that back area can be fairly detrimental depending on how you actually hit the turf. So there will be a couple of minutes added in, and there's reason for it. Of course, we've had a few stoppages right through this second period of play. It was fairly smooth sailing in the first 30. So free kick opportunity, and they've got their spot kick specialist out. That's Ryan Siak Sungwei. This time, well spotted there by Ang Siu Yi. Ryan actually looking to curve that ball in like he did the last time around. He's got a fairly sure foot on him. Well, just a tad bit of a slip up there with that interception for young Mohammad Raifs Khan. Goal bound, but it won't make it through with the St. Joseph's Institution keeper right there to guard the area. And quick caution there quick caution from the referee to the goalkeeper. Well, he wouldn't want him to be keeping to stall play for too long. Just wants him to get on with it, and that's, well, customary in every game of football. So SGI very much holding on to that score that they built up. St. Gabriel still have it all to do here, but with the minutes ticking away, and with the seconds now, it's going to be a worry. So Ryan Sungwei still keeping it in, dribbles his way through, and that's a quick clearance from the defense of SJI. And that's full time, and what a worthy win here for St. Joseph's Institution. Well, they did have the first shot on goal and that equalizer coming in from, and that was, of course, in the first period of play when young Lim Kai Shun, well, hit the target to give his team the lead. But an equalizer from Ryan Siak Sungwei for St. Gabriel's, well, making it 1-1 before Denzel Ari Thrumurgan stepped in to make it 2-1, and that's how it ended at the end of the first half. But in the second period of play, a goal, well, inside the box, converted from the spot by Denzel Ari Thrumurgan, giving his team a very, very commanding and a very convincing win. So tears of joy there for the coach and for his coaching staff as well, as it did. St. Gabriel Secondary School 1, St. Joseph's Institution 3, the final score in the South Zone C Division Boys Final. We will, of course, get through our prize presentation in just a little bit. So once again, a reminder, you don't go anywhere. This was the finale of the National School Games 2022 C Division Boys Final. We're still with you, and we're going to take you through the prize presentation in just a little bit. My suggestion, as always, is don't go anywhere. Always the unsung heroes of the event. A very good turnout here for us today. Of course, one end of the stadium, we've got two stands that we mainly look at, but at the stand where we are currently based at, and today we've had students, we've had family and friends of the players that are on field. It's been an interesting one. So once again, let's await Vice President itself in just a little bit right here at the Jalan Besar Stadium. And just to remind you that this was the C Division South Zone Boys Final in the National School Games 2022 that we were focused on. Also a reminder. And I do love that bit. Every time I see somebody wave, reminds me of one of my favorite animated films. And the last line that says, just smile and wave. Well, haven't you noticed it happens to some of the best footballers around in the circuit? You wave out to them, but they don't know you, but it's time for them to smile and wave. And celebrities, well, they get it just as well. And 9 out of 10, most of them, of course, are fans. To be fair, we've had most of the team to us. Made us feel like we were special. And that's a changing trend, of course, with today's generation, or with even the millennials. Well, so much different from the time that we actually donned a school uniform. And most of us lads were shy. The only real bold effort that would come out to be on a sports playing field, that was football, cricket, or even rugby for that matter, back in the day. That's all changed over a period of time. So very quickly, the St. Gabriel's having a quick word there last. And I think that's one of the most important things in any event. I did see that yesterday as well when I was doing the cricket final, and the team that finished second best, well, it was like a debriefing. They had an entire session, and that is so needed, where teachers can reassure the students that they don't need to take any sort of a defeat or a loss badly, but they're also to learn so that you can come back strong. That's one of the greatest things that sport does, right? It teaches you resilience. It teaches you, to be perfect, or to polish your sharp edges and make them smoother. It teaches you discipline more than anything else, and that's, I think, one of the reasons why you always have sports at the forum. So the prize presentation on already. Serangoon Garden School, of course, will play getting a certificate.
And the player on the match for the third ball placing is player number 7,
Play of the match, the third and fourth place game. Being awarded. Well, they didn't finish in third position, but a player being recognized for his efforts is so very important. And truly deserved here for the first place game from the winning team, SGI. Denzel Lowry from Murugan. He was absolutely fantastic. Fantastic with his assists. He had, he netted a brace. The second one, of course, being converted from the spot. He was definitely the standout player for today, so well deserved there to Denzel, and more power to him. Well, it's lads like this that you're definitely going to see in the years to come. sheer joy to be recognized for his efforts. So here we have it, Mr. Justin Pierre, Chairman of Singapore Sports Council and Principal of St. Joseph's Institution, and he's here to hand out the medals first to the team that finished, well, I'm not even going to say fourth, but I'm going to say third runners-up in the event. Always love the sound of that, and it's Serangoon Garden School. That's for all their efforts that they put into this contest and in the National School Games. So Mr. Justin Pierre, congratulating the lads on their efforts, but it's no mean feat to get into the semi-finals or to get into the third and fourth place game, or for that matter, what really matters, the final. There's always a good bit of efforts that go into, well, reaching the stage. There's a good amount of discipline. There's a lot of sacrifices on the parts of these lads. You could just sit at home and be gaming or doing things that normally other youngsters would do, but they do give it their all and spend time on a football field training. Well, turning up for training sessions, whether it's early morning or it's late evenings. They also have to balance out their studies as well. So very admirable from our youngsters here. And coming from the schools as well depart, but otherwise it was a packed, well, half of the stadium, and whenever that happens, it's sheer joy for us. Well, if there's one thing that players do require on field, whether you're talking about playing internationally, whether you're talking about playing nationally or in club level or school level, you require the crowd, because you are playing for the crowd, and that cheer makes such a huge difference. The only sport where that doesn't really count is tennis, where the players do need a tad bit of silence. So here it is, Anglo-Chinese School, Barker Road, finishing second runners-up, and now for the runners-up finish, St. Gabriel Secondary School. They had a decent game as well. Couple of few good efforts on goal, including that absolutely marvelous goal that was struck by Ryan Zheng Wei. There will be a bit of disappointment here for the lads, but they will be back stronger next year. And Achane Ezekiel, the lads, but they will be back stronger next year. And Achane Ezekiel, well, getting a word there from Mr. Pierre. You've got a captain, Ryan Asher-Koo, as well, who led his team extremely well. You had Denzel R.A. Morgan. You also had Ang Siu Yi, the keeper. Well, these lads really shining bright. Led his team extremely well. Plays as a centre back. And big smile there as he stands with his. So that was our prize presentation, and we do hope our coverage of this event. Once again, a reminder that this was being brought to your screens by One Play Sports. If you catch up with any of the events or the results, simply it's go.gov.sg/school games. Use that as much as you can to find the schedule and the results. And it's also time for us here from the Jalan Besar Stadium, where we've had such a wonderful evening. We've got to shut shop and ship out of here. So I'm Mascarena saying for now, but we'll catch you again real soon when sports resumes next week and bright and early on a Monday. Thank you once again for joining us. Goodbye for now.